Going. They'll get their feet under them in the latter part of this first, and they'll be ready for the rest of the game. In front, and they score. The rebound comes right out in front of the net, and Barry's Bay's Luigi Martone. He scored. Luigi pops it home, and there's number 12 already making a mark here in Barry's Bay. It's a Luigi.
Welcome everybody to the EOSHL podcast, episode number 4. He really here's his introduction here. 54 career games played, 29 goals, 36 assists for 65 points with stops in Tweed, Deseronto, Center Hastings, and Barry's Bay. Born the same year as Taylor Swift. Welcome to the show, the Italian stallion, Luigi Martone.
How's it going, brother?
Oh, it's going, man. It's been busy up here, doing all this stuff with the league. It's been awesome.
Oh, I bet, man. You've been doing a lot of great things, you and Billy both, and you know what? I can't appreciate it more. It's been awesome, man. Everything you guys do for every team, and it's just expanding more and more. It's awesome. It's great.
I really appreciate that. It's honestly why we do it is, for the players, the fans, family of the players, everybody. We're doing it for everybody, for the people. Now I see you're wearing the Leafs colors today. Big game today for the Leafs and Bruins, game 1 for the NHL playoffs. I'm just going to throw a curveball at you here. Who do you got in that series?
Well, obviously I'm going to go with my Leafs. We've been down with them 3 times before, so hopefully we can get the bounce here and hopefully make it a good series and get through to round 2.
Yeah, I actually had to do I did a hockey bracket today, actually, filling in my picks, and I'm like, I've been so out of the loop with the NHL this year that I just decided to go with dark horses. So honestly, I actually ended up going with, I know it's going to sound really crazy, but I have for the Stanley Cup final, I have the Vancouver Canucks and the New York Islanders, and having the New York Islanders winning in 7. And the reason why I picked the Islanders is for Patrick Waugh. So I don't know, maybe, my childhood idol growing up. So, but again, with all that I've been working on with the EOSHL this year, my entire knowledge of the NHL this year has been out the window.
Well, you know what? If I'm right, I think it's 1-1 right now with them in Carolina. So let's see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. Now, let's get started here on the personal stuff here. So where are you from, and where did the root of hockey start for you?
Okay, so I'm born and raised in Scarborough. Hockey started pretty young for me, around 2 or 3, and from my dad, obviously, get me on the skates real young and get me right in there real quick. A couple of the stories, obviously, that I've been told growing up is like, my dad sort of like put down a different birth year at 3 years old to start my first year playing house league.
Oh, I love that.
Oh yeah, down at Mid Scarborough, which is now Don Montgomery. But yeah, I played with the Asian Core Canadians house league when I got started, and then from there we moved. We had a little stop down in the OMHA at 7, where I started playing with the Clarington Toros, and then after the Clarington Toros, I won in All Ontario's with the Ajax Picker Raiders, and then we moved back down to Scarborough and started the GTHL. And then after that, down play some junior hockey with the Durham Fury, Vaughan Vipers, Dixie Beehives, a little bit with the Woodstock Renegades, and then hockey took a little bit of a brief pause, and then I ended up over here in the EOSHL. So that's a little brief story about that.
So you have a knack for finding yourself in front of the net. Now, is there a player that you find yourself emulating your style of play after?
I wear his number, Lindros. I know he's a bigger boy than I am, but he just has that knack in front of the net. But he was able to do it all: open ice, in the corners, down low, in front of the net, just getting yourself in the right spots and and pot them home, right? So I know if you want to score goals, you got dirty. So.
Oh, definitely. And it was Big E your favorite player growing up?
Obviously, it was Gretzky for me. Was my dad's favorite player. It just sort of emulated to me. But like I said, I saw the way Lindros played and just go to the net hard and just potting in goals and playing tough in the corners and winning puck battles. I knew those were important spots, and that's where I find myself.
Now, you entered the league in 2021, 2022 with the Tweed Oil Kings. So how did you learn about the league, and how did you get yourself involved?
Well, that's a funny story. So I was actually playing in a high-level ball hockey league with a buddy of mine, Tyler Ryan. A little shout out to him. And he was actually going to play with the Alvinston Killer Bees in the WOSHL. So I talked to a buddy of mine, and you guys probably all know him well, Andrew Reinhold. And we were actually going to go skate with Alvinston. They wanted to sign us right off the hop. And we did a little bit of research, and I was like, this is a little bit far. So I'm like, maybe there's something a little bit closer. So I did a little bit of research, and I looked it up, and I saw that the Tweed Oil Kings were making a stop in this league. And a couple emails later to John Deseronto, and next thing you know, I got an email back saying that they wanted to pick me and Andrew Reinhold up, and that's how it all ended up. We were actually supposed to go play in the WSHL, and it ended up that we played in the East here. So
it's awesome. It's one of those great stops. We're glad to have you in this league here, and actually, this kind of rolls into my next question. So, how far back do you go back with Andrew Reinhold? Basically, how long have you guys been friends for? And basically, how did that all start?
So that started, like I said, I play with the AJ Cork Canadians organization, the house league part about that, and then we made where the family bought a house down in Curtis. So I went from playing in the SHA system there, kind of thing, like as a young lad in our first the first year that we can go play minor hockey, competitive. We ended up down here, so we went to play for Clarington, and Andrew was there, and his dad and my dad, they started talking together, and me and Drew played together and played our minor hockey together, and my dad and his dad were best friends, and me and him have been best friends ever since. So it's been almost about 28 to 29 years that we've been that close, and we've played in prospect tournaments.
Amazing.
Played with each other, against each other, junior against each other, and all these things. Now started our EOSHL careers together, and now playing against each other. And let's just say we're best friends off the ice, but on the ice it's a battle every night. So.
Oh, I bet. I gotta ask you, have you tried May Reinhold's shortbread cookie? She made me a batch actually while I was doing a game up in Marmora when you guys were playing. When you guys when Marmora beat Tweed, May comes up to me with this tin of shortbread cookies, and they were like the greatest thing ever. I probably gained 5 pounds from eating them all.
Let's just say one thing about May: she's a great cook, and obviously one of the best people I've ever met in my life. And let's just say I've tasted a lot of her cooking, and I have nothing to complain about there. So.
Oh, that whole Reinhold family is just they're great people. Now, now you played 10 games with Tweed for 4 goals, 6 assists for 10 points. So you averaged a point per game with Tweed. Now you end up going over to Deseronto, where you played 27 games in parts of 2 seasons. You racked up 13 goals, 18 assists for 31 points. So talk a little bit about that experience there.
Deseronto, what can I say? I have nothing but good things to say about Des. They brought me in right away. I felt like I was accepted right away in the room with the guys, the coaching staff, the owners, the fans. There's so many memories and so many things that I'll hold close and dear to me that will never go away. Every time I make a stop in that rink, even playing against them, it just feels like you're coming home, right? I came in there with with the blinders on, just wanting to do what I can for them and do my job. And you know what, Lando brought me in there, told me what my role was going to be. Parking my ass in front of the net on the power play, blocking shots on the PK, and it just worked. Everything worked. You know what I mean? And the points are going in, the pucks are going in, and like I said, I have nothing but good things to say about that organization, and they're just coming up and up every year as it goes. So.
Oh, definitely. And, ironically, you played your 50th career game against the Bulldogs actually this past season. So kind of funny, full circle there. Now, when you were in Des, who did you find yourself playing with quite often? Like, did you have like specific line mates you were finding yourself playing with quite often?
Big Harrison and Carter Thornton. And you know what? We were, like a good little third line unit there. And you know what? We just came through. We just we persevered. We put points up. Me and Harry were right there in the PK1 part of it. And you know what? We just did. We knew what our job was, and we just did it right. And obviously, playing on the power play there with Miracle and the Joy Mayers and Cannons and Big Johnny Hill on the pop there and Arberg, you know what I mean? It just I couldn't fit better, right? You know what I mean? I let those guys do their magic on the outside and just went to the net, won the pucks in the dirty areas, got it back to them, and things just clicked and things worked. So it was good. It was great. It was a good experience for sure.
As one thing I always say, like going to Deseronto, is that atmosphere is fantastic. The fan base is great. The ownership is great. Punchy. I got so much great stuff to say about Punchy, and then Gemi was there for a big chunk of time too. Like two very stand up guys. If I could say so many great things about that organization. Now, I mentioned you had two parts of 2 seasons there. Then you go to the Center Hastings Ice Miners, basically the new expansion team this past season. Now, you actually were one of the offensive leaders on that team. You had 11 goals and 7 assists and 3 power play goals. I had a chance to witness a lot of your goals against, I guess a lot of your goals, which, I think a lot of those goals we saw you in the home opener. Actually, I was at a wedding, but I watched the highlight clip of it, and it was like, oh man, this guy, he's on the score sheet quite a lot. That experience in Marmora, you want to talk about that home opener experience in Marmora, what the fan base was like, what it was like coming to a brand new team with a brand new situation.
Oh, wow. I think we spent our first 3 or 4 weeks on the road. So there was a lot of anticipation with a new team coming in a new town, and you walk in that rink, and even before warm up, it was filled right up. And for me, I like to step out a few minutes before we get out there for warm up and just take in the ice, and you could just sort of hear like a little bit of the rumble in the crowd, and you knew there was something different going on there. It was just it was a different experience, like seeing that many people in such a it's a one-sided seating area, so it was packed. Like there was nowhere to get a seat there. And then when we came on the ice for our first warm up at home, and you could just hear the roar of the crowd, and it sent jitters down your spine for a second there. And then like you said, I had a career game there. I think I had 5 goals and 2 assists in that one, and things were just popping off left, right, center. It just it started with a little tap in again on the power play, parked in front of that. Which is, I guess in this league has become like a little forte for me. If we got a power play, that I'm sitting in front of that because, I'm a constant disturbance, and any pucks that get into me within the dots to the crease, it's probably going to go in the net. So, a little rebound there, and I popped her home, and then it just took off from there. It was, I know I had a little bit of a bigger celly than usual, but it was exciting because it's like I said, just that roar of the crowd, it gets the emotions going, and And like I said, it was just one of those games where just everything I did was just going in, right? So.
Another cool thing too is you got to play a little bit with Brett Miracle as well over in Hastings. I know you guys had a nice setup for a goal in the high school reunion game in Tweed. I know that's your profile picture, I believe, on your Facebook page. You and Miracle go back to your Deseronto days. I know Bretsky; he's one of my favorite guys too. That must have been really special for you two to get to kind of get reunited in that, on that team.
Oh, nothing but good things to say about Bretsky there, and met him down in Des. I remember the first time I walked in the room, and it just that connection started real quick. We embraced. Hey, how you doing? I'm Luigi. Brett. Shake hands, little hug. He knows. We have a good mutual friend that he played down in the Fed together with, and it just sort of brought us a little bit closer. You have little memories and things you talk about from your past things in your hockey careers, and that it just worked. It just clicked, right? And not only as everyone thinks he's a tough guy, but he's got some good hands and he can move the puck, and he can score some nice goals. Going back to that one goal I saw that he scored for Frontenac there, where he walked behind the goal line and then came back and tucked it in there against Tweed. Not a lot of guys can have the patience. I think so. Not everybody, as everybody thinks about Miracle, he's a fighter. But you know what? He's got hands, and he can also move the puck, and he can play in any situation, whether it's PK, power play. Whether he's on the first line, second, third, or fourth, he can fill any role. So any team that has him is lucky to have a guy like that. So.
It's funny you mentioned that goal, because that goal was in my coaching debut game when I coached for the Phantoms that game against Tweed, and we got smoked. It was something like 15-3 or something. It was, or 15-2 or whatever it was. That was definitely one of the highlights of that game. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say definitely 100%. I think I've watched that goal a few times now with him, and even after games, how it is, right? You get with your guys and on the road a lot, and sometimes you're in the motels and stuff, and we've replayed that one back a few times. So definitely that one's sort of imprinted in the memory bank there for him. So, and good for him for getting it, and proud of everything he's doing.
So now we fast forward towards just past Christmas, Center Hastings. You guys just came off a big win against Tweed, the division rivals. I know there's a lot of talk back and forth, then there was that sudden closure of the franchise, and then we have the what do you want to call it? The that special draft. Take us through what your experience with that, and how you were feeling in that, in those moments.
Wow. Going back to then, it's like 1 second you're preparing. I think we were supposed to be playing against Gan, and 1 second you're preparing for a game, and you're in a playoff spot, and knowing that it was you're in the last playoff spot in the conference, and knowing that you got a couple games left in the season, and things where you come off a big win against a team like Tweed, so the guys are feeling really good about themselves and feeling that maybe the tide's turning a bit here, and like a lot of the games we did lose, there was a lot of games where we were up by a goal or two, and as a new franchise, new squad, new guys coming in, and just getting used to the league, we did blow a few leads there late in the third or in the closing period and stuff like that, but we felt like we really had something there, and then it just sort of went so fast, like the emotions, you really couldn't even have emotions about it because it happened so fast, right? So one second you're preparing to get on the road to go play a game, and then the next second, everything's getting, the team, unfortunately the team's folding, and we're having this dispersal draft, and then next thing you're getting phone calls from a few teams and about this and that, and then you get a couple options, and I chose to go with Barry's Bay, and they're a great organization, and I just thought that was the best chance to try to make a run in the playoffs there.
Yeah, and that brings me to my next point here. So you do get picked up by Barry's Bay. Your first game is against Gan. Barry's Bay plays a charity tournament, like an all-day tournament the day before. So basically you guys are running on a skeleton crew. You and Tavares are playing your very first game. It's Kalen Tavares playing your very first game for the Wolves. I remember I believe it was Ethan Lipinski who got the start in net. You guys are running on skeleton crew, and you guys actually start off that game very strong. Actually, you ended up picking up the go-ahead goal to put you guys up 2-1. You scored on Jake Clement, which was his very first game, and again, and that probably was like maybe your 6th or 7th goal of the season against Jake. And I'd say you really hurt Jake's goals against average this season. So you definitely put a big dent in his numbers. But you immediately found that score sheet, and you played 3 games for Barry's Bay in the regular season. You put up 6 points for an average of 2 points per game. Now, my big question for you is that Barry's Bay atmosphere. I coached a game against you guys actually while you were there. It was the last regular season game, and I remember, like, I've been to Barry's Bay twice. For you as a player, explain like what that atmosphere meant to you, for a new franchise like that. So you went from Hastings having a big fan base, and then you go to Barry's Bay, and it's just this huge wall of fans looking down on you and going all the way around. Just talk me through what that was like.
How do I say this? Something different, and especially there's some teams in this league that have a really great fan base. Tweed, obviously, being one of them, and Hastings having they also had a great fan base, and then you walk into that Barry's Bay rink. I still remember playing our first game against them. I think we lost 5-4 in OT, and Big Kelly Summers, shout out to him. Great captain, great guy to play with, and he scored the overtime winner in that game. But wow, like the rink, I think was going to blow up. I think the roof was going to fall off, right? And walking through the doors, and just even before, I think we had pictures that day. If I'm right, yeah, we had pictures that day too. And even before warm up, you get out there, you're like, wow, like you can get the goosebumps on you real quick and the shivers down your spine, because everybody's there and everybody's supporting you, and the whole town's there behind the team. And I wish I could have been there longer, because it was awesome. I only got to play one home game with them, right? Because I think my first 2 games were on the road there, and then I got to play one home game with them. But what an experience! What an experience to be there. And I just wish we could have pulled it out against Tweed in the in the wild card game there to bring a home playoff game back there, because I think that roof would have blew off the building. And nothing.
Oh, I definitely don't disagree. I don't disagree with that at all. And what's cool too is that game that you played and that you talked about was that game where they had that really big ceremony at the beginning where they were honoring the team from Barry's Bay from many years ago, and they honored all the alumni. I thought that was really cool how you guys basically went to the players, the alumni, to have them hand you guys your sticks. I thought that was kind of cool, like a passing of the torch. I thought that was incredible.
It really was. And like you could just see like how the community is so behind the team and the organization and what it means to them, right? And like you said, like the passing of the torch as it feels like in that kind of sense. But it really was. It really was there. And like just meeting some of those alumni guys and talking with them, and having them in the dressing room after the win, and just hearing a few of their stories, like. Those are kind of things as a player that those are memories that you hold on to and you hold dear, because you never get them again. You know what I mean? That's a one-off kind of thing, hearing what they have to say and what they went through playing and stuff like that. So it's something that you'll never get it again. It's not like you're just gonna show up to Tim Hortons tomorrow and have that same conversation again, right? It's just a one-off kind of thing. So it couldn't be happier about it. So, and happier for those guys and what they did for the town as well.
So my next question here for you is, who do you enjoy playing against the most?
I gotta say it. I love playing against Andrew Reinhold. Ever since I was traded from Tweed over to Daz, and then playing against them with Central, and then playing with Barry's Bay against them. It's just we have some good battles. Whether it's win or lose, we usually both pick up a couple points in each game, and it's a good battle. And it's like I said before the game, you know what I mean. You couldn't tell we were friends, but after the game, you know, it's always good if you notice anytime that you film their games. As everyone else is skating off the ice, we have that little moment where we just you know, sort of reminisce on the game, and you know,
you guys always have smiles on your face.
it's hard to explain, right? So whether we're skating away with the W or he is, but that's what this league's all about. Like, if you've noticed, there's so many guys that have come. Like, whether you're a guy that's in the lineup every night, or you're a guy that comes in and helps and fills in because. Sorry about that. Just had someone trying to call me there. But if you notice, when
That's all right.
guys coming in this league, you start seeing guys that like, you know, you might have not seen them for about 10 or 15 years. You play with them junior against them and stuff like that. But it's one of those leagues where, like, you know, guys just want to stay competitive. They want to play, and you know what I mean. It brings out that edge that you used to have, and now it's becoming a league where guys are just coming out of junior and stuff like that, and you know, it's starting to get a lot of exposure, and it's good for the kids that just you know, some of those kids that are coming out of junior that maybe didn't get picked up, or maybe a late bloomer, and they haven't made a run to go, you know, play NCAA somewhere, or go play some minor pro or pro overseas and stuff like that, and they get a chance to still get a look, and you know, maybe they get picked up by a team in the federal or stuff like that, and it's great. This league has done a lot, right? It's not just like back in the day a senior A league where guys were just coming in and just, you know, they're at the end of their careers and just coming in to play some competitive hockey. It's become more than that. You know what I mean? It's become more than that. So.
Oh, definitely. And you know, it just goes to show you the quality of players that the league is really getting here. Now the next question I have is, who is the toughest goalie to score on for you?
Okay, this year, I have to give
in general.
This year was definitely a miracle. I'll give Bailey that hands down. The only reason why I say that is because I sort of had Kment's number this year.
You definitely did.
Other than that, I think hands down, though, he is probably one of the top goalies, not in this league, but in a lot of leagues. And if I'm right,
yeah, and
I think he's down with Watertown right now. If I'm correct, I think he signed a thing with Watertown, or playing with them, or helping them in the playoffs. I'm not 100% sure. I thought I saw something.
Who's that? Miracle?
Kment.
Oh, Kment. So Kment, I was talking to him. He was saying that he's not able to play in the playoffs due to, I guess, playoff eligibility. He didn't play enough games.
Okay.
But as for Miracle, I've said it time and time again. He reminds me of Jonathan Quick. I don't know what it is, but he just does, the way he plays, and he's so quick.
You know,
pun intended.
I was lucky enough to find the back of the net a couple times on him this year, but I think one was on a deflection, one was a pass in tight again in my little sweet area on top of the crease where I was able to jam it through his 5-hole. But man, he made some saves on me that not too many goalies can make. So kudos to him. He had an amazing year, and especially a guy like Kement, I think it was his first year in the league. But Kement,
came up juniors too.
Not enough things to say about Kement there. He definitely deserved goalie of the year, and he's been doing it for so long with you guys there at Frontenac, and then coming over to Gann. What a great pickup for them to have him over there, and he definitely helped lead them to a championship this year. And good for him, and congratulations to Gann Aquay for what they've done. And you know, don't take anything off the Rockets. You know what I mean? It was a great series. I followed everything there, and but you know, it was nice to see. So it was good for him.
Yeah, I was actually going to come to my next question. Is you watched the finals, and what did you think of it?
first thing I'll do a little shout out to Kevin there, to Mr. Deving. What a guy! Had the pleasure of playing with him in center there, and man, just a professional off and on the ice and everything he does. And I think he had two. I think he ripped two in the game in the finals there, and I think Gan had the pleasure of having him there, and he definitely made an impact right away. So, and good for him, and good for the whole organization over there. They did a great job, and I said,
he was huge in that game 5. Came up clutch, and it's funny. He came up clutch for center Hastings as well in Frontenac. You guys were down, I think it was like 4-1, and you guys stormed back and won that game. Was it 5-4 in overtime? In the dying seconds of overtime, remember he ripped it past Clement. I think it was it might have been his blocker side possibly, but I just remember he set up center Hastings' very first victory of that season.
Oh yes, I was just coming on the ice. I was just coming out, and it was sort of like a partial kind of 2-on-1, and he ripped that one, and I thought I was going to knock myself out or him out as hard as I jumped on him after he scored that one, because that was a big one. It was the first win for the organization, and especially having coming off the loss in our first OT game against Barry's Bay there. To get that one was huge, and it sort of started a little bit of road for us, and then we came back home, and I was going back home the next week to play against Front again in our home opener, and then it sort of paved the way for a bit there, and it was good. It was awesome, and you couldn't thank him enough for putting that one in. I think everybody gave him a pat on the back. I think he was. I think his hand was getting tired for how many times he got shook, or his shoulders were getting tired for how many hugs he get from the guys. So.
Now, I didn't plan for this next question, but you do have somebody who's a diehard fan of yours, Heather Johns. Every single time that you were at a rink, I see her and her husband at the rink, and her husband got a jacket made with your name on it. How cool is that?
That was, that's just, I don't even know what to say. It was awesome. It was really cool. They're great family friends with the Reynolds, and going to play with Tweed is technically how I really met them, and I guess them realizing how good friends that me and Andrew are, because me and Andrew are almost closer than friends. We're like pretty much brothers, right? Like I said, family friends for so many years, and couldn't be closer with anybody else than him, and then her finding that out, and then the pictures. It just, one thing led to another, and you start, and and they're just great fans of the league. They know a lot of players in the league. They do it. They don't just do it for the people they like. They do it for everybody in the teams, and they take a lot of pictures and they post them up. And you know what? You can't give thanks more to those two and their dedication to following the league, and that's what it's about, right? Like, you know what I mean? The fans are great in this league. You know what I mean? They support their teams, they support their organizations, they support their players, and a lot of these fans have watched a lot of these players in their smaller towns and stuff like that in their junior careers, their OHL careers, if they've gone over to play pro and this and that, and you know what? And it's nice for them to get to see them play in person again, right? And we
definitely.
Not me as myself, but I could tell a lot of the players, we all we hold the fans close, and if it wasn't for them, then we wouldn't be doing what we do, right?
So my big question here is, what's next for you, and what are some of your biggest challenges moving forward?
Okay, so I'm not going to get in too depth of what's next. I'm going to hold the cards close on that one. I think. If I'm right, what I was told was because of the dispersal draft, I think I am now sort of have a choice for once where I want to go this year. Some of the challenges are definitely a little bit of family life, trying to make it all work. And I think a lot of players have that kind of challenge too, right? Because my stepson, he's playing AA with the EOSHL Generals. My daughter's getting on skates this year, and she's going to start playing, I think it's juggling. It's a juggling act, right? But I got to give a shout out to all the wives, all the family, everybody out there that is letting us do this and support us. We know we're not bringing in millions of dollars like the NHLers, or but we appreciate it. Put it that way, because we know, like, travel on the road, come watch us play, support us, watch us through your podcasts and filming our games and stuff like that, and we can't thank them enough. But I think that's one of the biggest obstacles, is just trying to make it work, right? And if it wasn't for the spouses and like the family and stuff like that, it'd be hard to do, right? So not only do the players make sacrifices, but our family makes sacrifices too, right? Because if you think about it, especially the guys coming from away, like from the Durham area, guys are coming from Toronto, guys are coming from here, there, and the other. It takes a lot of time, right? There's some teams aren't as funded as other teams, right? So some of these guys, they have to do the long drives, 3-4 hour drives here and there, and so you think about it, like, okay, the game's at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, but sometimes you're on the road by like 12. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
And
I'm glad you said that, because I'm glad you said that, because what a lot of people don't realize is that commitment, right? And our families, our kids, like, they're a big part of this too. And even for myself too, for all the committed time I'm putting into this league, I thank my wife all the time for allowing me to do what I love. And it's to me, I think it's this whole thing we're doing is really by community, right? And it's just it's awesome. Like, I can't give enough thanks to all those family members, and like you said, it really is a huge commitment. Now, anybody you want to give a shout out to before we wrap things up here?
All the guys. Let's Max Smith, Andrew Reinhold, Miracle, Steve Normie.
Stormy Normie.
I could go on and on and on. Everybody in Des, everybody I know was unfortunate in Center Hastings what happened, but all the guys there and the fans, and we just, and everyone that's followed me, and you know what I mean. We appreciate everything. Not just me. I'm talking about all the players. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us, and we love you all, and that's why we show up to the rink, because we wouldn't put our body on the lines if it wasn't for you guys, and we appreciate it. So.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. And fans, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, get more content, and see a lot more interviews. We got many more coming up this week. But Luigi, thank you again. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you. Have a good one.